From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
Good morning and welcome to Houston Newsmakers. This is a very important month. It is Child Abuse Prevention Month. I know, another month to observe something. We do it for heart disease, breast cancer, prostate, autism, which is also this month. You name it, there seems to be a month dedicated to it. But child abuse prevention, think about the impact child abuse has on children and families that lasts for a lifetime. And unlike some of the diseases and causes we focus on, child abuse is 100% preventable. But it's happening at unacceptable rates. 700,000 are abused in the United States annually. Children 1 year old and younger had the highest rate of victimization, and 4 out of 5 abusers are the victims' parents. Joining me this morning are the leaders of several organizations in our community that make it their business to fight child abuse, help prevent it, or ease the burdens of those who are abused. Kathy Nevarez is the program director for Child Advocates. They mobilize court-appointed volunteers to break the cycle of child abuse and speak up for abused children who may be lost in the system. The goal is to guide them into safe environments. Rania Moncarios is the executive director of Crime Stoppers of Houston, which is primarily dedicated to public safety and a mission to solve and prevent serious crime in our area through partnerships with citizens, media, and the criminal justice system. And Fritz Guthrie, the Chief Executive Officer of Escape Family Resource Center, whose mission is to prevent child abuse before a child is hurt by providing education, intervention, and support to families in crisis. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate your involvement in being a part of this conversation this morning. Fritz, I want to start with you because your mission is to prevent it before it happens. And that goes to talk about the fact that I said that it's 100% preventable. What kinds of things are you focusing on now in terms of Escape Family Resource to try to make sure that that can be prevented before it even happens?
Well, we focus on a lot of things, but primarily it is all about prevention. We have 11 different classes we teach all over the area. We work with 5 school districts in 6 or 7 counties, have 49 part-time educators who are out there teaching every day, teaching someone in English and in Spanish ways to prevent child abuse. Well, we like to get the parents together with their children so that they learn together. Now the parents are in one room and the children are in another room, but they learn the same language. So when they go home, if a child says, "I'd like to speak with my heart," the parent knows what that means. If the parent says, "I need this from you," the child knows why he's asking, why the parent's asking.
Rania and Kathy, I know your organizations deal more directly with the criminal justice systems in some ways. Talk about the challenges you see, each of you, day to day, and what is it that helps make you more determined to try to stamp out child abuse?
Well, I think, at Child Advocates, we see every case that we see is heartbreaking, of course, because we know all of our kids deserve to be protected, and they have a lot to overcome after going through the trauma that they've endured. And so, one thing that we see, though, is that they are very resilient, and, having adults surrounding them who show them that they care is so important, and our volunteers are able to do that for these children.
It appears to me that Crime Stoppers is on the front line of a lot of this. The media works with the criminal justice part of this to try to get to these folks.
Yeah, we really focus on the community because the community sometimes has that missing piece of information. We know people who are wanted for these types of crimes, but sometimes law enforcement doesn't have the bandwidth or the manpower or the time to investigate, identify, locate them. So we profile them, we highlight them, and the media is so wonderful in helping us do that. People call us, we get information. But on the flip side, what's so hard is when we go out into the community and we deal with people and we talk to them about child abuse. We're in the schools as well. We're in 28 school districts through our Safe School program, talking to teachers and school-based law enforcement, parents, etc. But when you're in the community, the most frustrating thing is that feeling that child abuse it's horrific. But you know what? It's a family problem. It's so sad, but it's their problem. It's not our problem. We're trying to change that. Child abuse is everybody's problem. It's something that we all have to be invested in and make sure we eradicate.
It sounds like that's something Escape really focuses on well, to make sure that everybody knows, look, this is all of our problems, not just somebody's down the hall that we kind of hear from time to time.
It is, and it's preventable.
Yes.
It's the education, it's the understanding, it's learning, it's parents understanding that the moment that child is conceived, the nurturing begins. You start those conversations. How's life going to be? What's it going to be like? And then when the child is born, making sure you have the contact, making sure you make eye contact and have those conversations. Make them feel safe and secure every day.
You talk about, I know that you have a lot of interaction with CPS. They help, but they're getting these kids and putting them into a safe space, and then somehow or another you're able to kind of interact with them. How does the interaction work with CPS?
So all of our cases have a CPS caseworker, and our volunteer who's assigned to each case and our staff member work alongside with that CPS caseworker to be in the best interest for the children.
And the person who comes to you, pretty much they come, you rely a lot on volunteers, do you not, to just come in and kind of learn what they need to do?
That's right. Our volunteers go through a 30-hour training course, and then they are sworn in by a judge, and then we are working with them, guiding them through the process, and they are advocating for the best interests of each children that they're serving.
I'm guessing that when they get sworn in by a judge, that kind of makes it, that kind of brings the impact home, does it not?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rania, we're talking about the process where you're dealing with law enforcement, trying to get people to understand about the criminality of this. Yes. You sent me a list of some of the people who are, in fact, wanted for various kinds of child abuse. And you look at this, and this is just the tip of the iceberg about people who are out there.
It's literally just the tip of the iceberg. And we're profiling 10 people this month, but we're working on this every day of every month, of every week, the whole year, because we want to send the message that you do not have the right, you do not have the freedom to abuse a child, whether they're in your home, in your care, the children of your girlfriend or boyfriend. You do not have the right to lay hands on a child sexually, physically, to batter them emotionally, and we are trying to show that we will use the full force of Crime Stoppers, the full force of our media relationships, which are incredibly powerful, and the law to find these people and bring them to justice.
And I'm looking at somebody who is wanted for injuring a 6-year-old, somebody wanted for striking a 5-year-old, somebody wanted for gagging, throwing, striking, dangling a 2-month-old, 2 5-month-old boys. Those are the kinds of people that we're looking for, and that just kind of talks about the horrific nature of what's been going on here. Can all of you commiserate with what's going on with CPS these days? They've got a lot on their plate.
Yes.
They've got hours, they got so many things. What is the challenge, and how do you all try to make other people aware of what they're going through so people can kind of understand the kind of help they need?
Well, I think, you know, being a CPS caseworker is one of the most difficult jobs out there, and, you know, they're constantly having to put out fires, and it's a very high-stress job, so they really need all the support that they can get. And really, I think that's where our volunteers can step in and be that one constant for the child and be able to follow up on all of the things that the caseworker just doesn't have the time to be able to do.
We're going to talk more with our guest this morning about the abuse in our community and what's being done to stop it. As we go to break, I want to leave information about child advocates that in case you want to find out more information about how you can help. That's the number is 713-529-1396, childadvocates.org. Very easy to remember that website. And go to that website, find out all you can, and get involved. Houston Newsmakers will be right back with more you need to know about helping to save our children from abuse.